Good morning. Happy Tuesday. I thank God for another day. He's blessed me and given me another opportunity. Walk with Him in faith, trusting Him, believing His word, and seeking to be obedient to Him. A personal relationship with the Creator is what I have. And I'm so thankful for the salvation that provides that relationship because God is good. So very good. The daily devotional this morning is titled Isaac Working, and from the book of Genesis, chapter 26, verses 12 through 18. It says, Then Isaac sowed in that land and received in the same year 100-fold, and the Lord blessed him. And the man waxed great and went forward and grew until he became very great. For he had possession of flocks and possession of herds and great store of servants, and the Philistines envied him. For all the wells which his father's servants had digged in the days of Abraham, his father, the Philistines had stopped them and filled them with earth. And Abimelech said unto Isaac, Go from us, for thou art much mightier than we. And Isaac departed thence, and pitched his tent in the valley of Gerar, and dwelt there. And Isaac digged again the wells of water, which they had digged in the days of Abraham his father, for the Philistines had stopped them after the death of Abraham, and he called their names after the names by which his father had called them. Isaac worked, and God blessed him. Very simple. Work and be blessed by God. All right, this morning's lesson is titled, What Makes Work Vain? Solomon endeavors. Ecclesiastes chapter 1, verse 3, and chapter 2, verses 4 through 6, and verse 11. It says, What profit hath a man of all his labor which he taketh under the sun? I made me great works. I build me houses. I planted me vineyards. I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruits. I made me pools of water, therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored to do, and behold, all was vanity and vexation of spirit, and there was no profit under the sun. Solomon wrote 3 books of the Bible. In his early years, he wrote the Song of Solomon, an optimistic love poem. Later, he gave us the book of Proverbs, a collection of wise sayings spoken and written by him and others. Late in life, he penned Ecclesiastes, the musings of a miserable older man looking back over years of personal and national backsliding. Nearing the end of his days, Solomon's sad deduction was everything he had worked for was in vain. That's Ecclesiastes 1:2. And the profits he acquired were now unprofitable to him. He had sought and obtained everything his eyes lusted for. In his commentary on these verses, English theologian John Trapp said, "How many are there like Solomon that have died of a wound in the eye?" Solomon's great sin was not what he had accumulated, but rather how and why. His great works, including luxurious homes, enormous vineyards and orchards, extravagant gardens, and an intricate irrigation system, Solomon achieved greater wealth and acclaim than all the kings before him. Whatever his heart craved, his wealth acquired, until his acquisitions made those of his father David pale by comparison. King Solomon was paid exorbitantly through taxes collected from working people, truce money paid by foreign kings to maintain peace, and assessments levied against the various provinces of the nation. His throne was made of ivory, overlaid with gold, with a golden footstool. His drinking cups and eating utensils were of gold, because silver was considered beneath his dignity. See 2 Chronicles chapter 9, verses 13 through 27. All right, section 2b, Solomon's dissatisfaction. Ecclesiastes chapter 2, verses 18 through 23, and chapter 5, verse 12. It says, "Yea, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor, wherein I have labored, and wherein I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. For what hath man of all his labor, and of the vexation of his heart, wherein he hath labored under the sun? For all his days are sorrows, and his travail grief. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. This is also vanity. The sleep of a laboring man is sweet, whether he eat little or much, but the abundance of the rich will not suffer him to sleep." Solomon lamented that at death he would leave his fortune to another, realizing while he had attended to his passions and his lifestyle of unrestrained pleasure, see Ecclesiastes 2:18, he had neglected his parental responsibilities and would eventually bequeath it all to his rebel son, Rehoboam. Commentator Adam Clark said, "Alas, Solomon, the wisest of all men, made the worst use of his wisdom, had 700 wives and 300 concubines, and yet left but one son behind him to possess his estates and his throne, and that one was silliest of fools." The Solomaic lamentation, along with many contemporary examples, reminds us of the importance of wills, trusts, and other financial documents that protect our assets in ways that safeguard them from future abuse, provide for our families, and continue to support the work of the kingdom and honorable charities. As surely as Solomon spent his life looking for love in all the wrong places, he wasted his wisdom for business by acquiring wealth for all the wrong reasons and then failing to protect it. Ironically, aged Solomon contrasted the sleep of a working person with that of a rich man, concluding the laborer can sleep well, while the rich seldom get a good night's sleep because he has too much on his mind. There's an insert here titled Window or Mirror. It says material wealth is either a window through which we see God or a mirror in which we see ourselves. That was written by Warren Werby. Material wealth is either a window through which we see God or a mirror in which we see ourselves. When we walk with God and allow Him to lead and guide us, then we see Him in the things that we do. But when we walk in our own counsel, doing what we want and being disobedient to the will of God, we see ourselves as we truly are. We see our heart. We see what we desire, the fleshly desires that are against God. We need to seek God, seek to be obedient to Him, to follow Him, and to allow Him to work in us and transform us into the image of His Son, Jesus Christ. I thank you for your time. Have a blessed and wonderful Tuesday. God bless you. Bye, Cherry.